Hey Dwight, this is Larry. Just wanted to get back to you regarding your question from today. So there are a number of ways you can track changes as a job matures through the process. The first way is through quote groups. Quote groups are unlimited. You can have as many as you want, and you can assign specific quote groups to specific proposals or quotes that you send out. So it adds a tremendous amount of flexibility to what you're bidding. So what I did was I created a job here, 1870. I called it Dwight's job, and I set the division to AccuQuote, job status of open. I assigned it to you. I set a bid date of today, and the bidders are all bidders. And then I created a quote group. One, you could call this anything you want just by clicking this edit. You can assign any name that you want to a quote group. And here I have the equipment in your first example. And here's my base subtotal at 130. And it's showing my profit is about $65,000 here. My margin is 50%. So if I were to produce a quote for this, all I would do is go here, and right here you can see where I created a quote, and I put it to your attention. It's all bidders, and you can see right here it only contains quote group number 1. Now in your scenario, we get a call and the quote has changed and they want to add some things to it. So all I did was I edited these lines here, so you can see these are your this is your BAC cooling tower, your ABB VFDs, your Alpha Laval Hex, and your WFI WSHAP. All I did was I copied, see this button right here? I copied this quote group and created quote group number 2. And I added the ABB VFDs for the pumps at 8 grand. Here they are. And then I separated out the tags here and I made the changes. So you can see how my base subtotal is now 137.9, which ties to your sell price. The reason my sell is a little bit different than yours is I just took the $100 out over here as opposed to adjusting the sales price, because this is just much easier to do. This 137.9 is what would show up on the quote. So again, if I go up here to quoting, I now have another quote I created that only has that second quote group. So if I'm going to print this one just so you can see it. So I'm going to print the quote, and I'm going to do the group price, and I'm going to say I just want that second quote to print, and the second quote group, and I'm going to print this quote, and you'll see here it is that here you go. Here's your 137.9. Here's your cooling tower, and then here's all your additional equipment that you're including. If you wanted to, let me jump back into the system. If you wanted to show each one of those lines separately, then you could show them as different equipment lines. You could also show them as different manufacturers. So you can have multiple manufacturers and within a quote group, but one way to track your changes is to have different quote groups, and then you know which one you're bidding on because you can put a date here. You also have the ability to do status, right? So if, let's say that you send this bid out at 137.9 and it wins, so then you could mark this as 1 active, and now, sorry, my fault, 1 active, save quote group. So now you can see how you can track your wins and losses right here by looking at that quote group. Let me show you another way to track this would be here. I'm going to jump over to this other job. This is job 1552 that we looked at the other day. We have a job folder in AccuQuote. So here I created a quote on the 5th that was my chiller quote, and then I created a quote on the 10th that was my 50% quote. So if you wanted to track these quotes and the history of the quotes, you could also do it here. And once you save these and add them to the job, all you do is have to click on them and the quote comes up here. So another way to track it would be just to track the history by saving each quote. And then I promised you 3 ways. The third way is to actually just dump it to Excel. So we have some customers that when they get a quote group to be exactly what they want it to be, see this button right here that says Excel? If I click on that, it will automatically dump this into Excel. And as soon as that opens up, here you go, it's opening now. Sorry, this is just taking a second on my computer to open. And you can see here is that quote group that was dumped directly into Excel with all the information. So here's the quantity of, here's the quantity of 2 at 20,000, here's your 40,000, your 10, your 30, and your 50. So another way to do this would be to just dump your, if you want to, we have customers that have a job folder, and you could just dump that to Excel. You could also dump it to Excel and then save it in on a server or in Dropbox or Google Drive, and then just put it in your job folder. So there's 3 different ways to track the history of a job. One is by using quote groups. One would be by using the job folder, and one would be by dumping things to Excel. So I hope this was helpful, and keep those questions coming. Good talking to you, buddy. Bye-bye.